Hello, world. This is CuzTheInternet podcast. I'm your host, Trey.
And I'm your Jose. And let's get into it. Okay,
Yeah.
Tales for the Internet. So, the question goes as follows. At a woman's birthday dinner, who should pay the bill? Let's say the bill is $1,700 and there are 15 people, 6 men, 9 women. Okay? The options are A, the attendees accept the birthday girl, B, her boyfriend if he's there, C, the birthday girl, or D, all of the men at the table.
All right. So I just have some questions. I know this. I just want to clear this up, though. So at this birthday dinner, was it? Okay, actually, no. It doesn't even matter. My question, forget it. So I think that everybody other than the birthday girl pays. To me that makes sense. If the boyfriend wants to pay, that's dope. That's cool. But no, it should be if it's just everybody's invited out to a restaurant to celebrate a birthday or even a party, you pay for your food or pay for it. The only person that shouldn't pay would be the birthday girl. So no,
Exactly.
that's whichever letter that was. That's the one I agree with.
Yeah, that one is A.
Yeah. So A is definitely the right answer. How do you feel about it?
I mean, it's perspective. It depends on who you ask. You can
Yeah.
ask the 9 women there, and they'll say all the men at the table should pay it. But
Yeah.
no, I'm joking. But yeah, like I mean, it depends on who you ask. But me personally, I think everybody should pay for their own stuff. Like,
Yeah.
don't come out, don't eat and drink 1942, and then be like, okay, well, you guys are paying for it. Like, no,
Yeah.
no, it was you with the high chest who ordered all this stuff. Pay for
Yeah.
your own stuff. It's fine. Now, if the birthday girl did it, then it's like, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna split it, or I mean, I'll be like, all right, I'll pay for the birthday girl. I don't
Yeah.
mind doing
No, I
it, but
get
I
you.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm not paying for everybody because it's not everybody's birthday. So
Exactly. No,
that's
exactly.
me. And then if you pay for everybody there, how does the birthday girl feel special? It's her birthday, but everybody, you paid for everybody. Like, I know it's not a big
Well,
thing, but it's like,
no, well, I see, I get you, but I don't think that's necessarily because let's say you're the boyfriend and you're like, I'm gonna just pay for
hmm,
everybody, then I think the birthday girl still feels special because you're
yeah,
just taking care of it. So I think it's really about situation. But overall, no, I don't think the whole point is I don't think anybody should feel obligated to pay for anyone else other than the birthday
yeah,
person. So that's why I choose A, just because naturally, like you said, it could be your preference, however you want to do it. If the group all decides like men are supposed to pay for it, then fine. If the men are cool with it, they pay for it. But
hmm,
on an overall, it's all about preference. I just see it as we all came out as friends. Everyone takes care of their bill except for the birthday person. That's the person we gotta make sure has a great time, nothing spent.
So my question for you now,
Mm.
I mean, this wasn't a part of this, but suppose the birthday girl or birthday guy, he went crazy, like just ordered mad stuff like champagne, wine for everybody, and this and that, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He orders all this stuff, she orders all this stuff, and now it comes time to pay. Is it wrong for the birthday person to pay for their own bill?
See, that's the thing. Usually, the all right. I'm just saying usually. If you
Hmm.
have a good friendship relationship, there's an understanding. You know what I mean? Like so, I've gone out where the bill's been a lot higher. Let's say me and my boys and celebrating a birthday, and the bill's higher than we might have thought it would have been for their birthday, but we still pay it for them. But a lot of times, even when I do it or my boys do it and it goes higher, we're still like, yo, we know that we killed it. So even if you're the birthday person, you're like, yo, how much is it, man? I'm gonna pay for because like you appreciate the fact that they're
Hmm.
willing to pay, but you bought like 10
Yeah,
rounds of 1942. Like, so you're like, yo, I'm gonna take
yeah,
care of my bill. And again, a lot of times it's still a no. You know what I mean? This is for your birthday, but you still have to understand. You still have to be willing and carry out the money if you know you're gonna be wilding out if you're the birthday
Yeah.
person. Just out of respect, you can't expect people to pay for your habit, especially if it's
Mhm.
very very expensive. How you feel about it?
Oh no, no, I agree. I agree. I definitely agree with that because I mean, if I go out for somebody's birthday, I'm not making them pay for their own dinner.
Yeah,
But I mean, if they wild, like, I mean, once again, if it's like a close friend, like, I mean, obviously, if they wild out, I wild out. We already know how it is.
yeah,
It's all love, so it's like, yo, I got you. Don't even worry about it. Like, put your money away, man. Like, yo, I got it. Don't worry about it.
exactly.
So I get it. Like, I wouldn't expect them to. I wouldn't make them. I wouldn't allow it to happen.
Yeah.
But no, when my birthday comes around,
Exactly. And that's the thing. And it's also out of respect though. You still gotta if especially if you're wilding out, you gotta still be
yeah,
willing to pay your own bill. You know what I mean? You can't
exactly,
expect somebody to be like take up 3, 4 G's just because you wanted to have an amazing night. No, that's not cool, man.
exactly.
So yeah. No,
So,
I agree.
um, I mean, with that story being said, so my girl has a friend,
Mm,
and we've gone out a couple of years in a row for her birthday. And she goes to the restaurant, she get whatever she gets, and we pay her bill. So we go to the waiter and just be like, okay, yo, here, put it on, whatever this and that, blah blah blah. So we
yeah.
pay her bill.
Yeah.
So the following year, went out for her birthday, blah blah blah. Same restaurant. Hey, pay her bill.
Yeah.
I believe it was the third or fourth year of us going there, and paid her bill. And when we left, she was like, "Yo," she made a comment about like not having to pay for your dinner on your birthday. And so we were like, so we knew what was happening, but we were like, hold on, let's find out what's happening here.
Yeah.
So we were asking, like, what do you mean? And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah. She's like, they didn't charge me. Like, she's like, they don't charge me for her birthday. So we're like, okay, cool. We're like, we were the ones who paid for your. And then she started dying. She was like, so you guys have been paying for all these years? We're like, yeah. Like, we're not going to make you pay for your own birthday dinner. But she was like, oh my God. She's like, I thought it was them who's just like, okay, you don't have to pay for your stuff. I was like, now suppose what happened was
Yeah.
one year we weren't able to make it. And she
Mm.
went out. And she decided she was just going to stand up and leave. Or she was going to be like, you guys never made me pay before. Like, and you
Yeah.
already know how people, like, some people are wrong and strong. So it's
Yeah.
like, yo, nah, y'all ain't never made me pay before. Call the manager. Y'all ain't made me pay before. So
Yeah.
I don't want to pay. Like, it's like,
That is
oh, that would be
genius
bad
though.
embarrassing. But yeah, she was none the wiser. She didn't know that we were paying her bill this whole time.
See, but you know what's dope? Is that you guys did the good deed and didn't expect anything from it. And that I think that's just solid. I love when people are like that. They don't want nothing. They're doing it because they want to do it. It took years for her to find out that you guys been paying for it. That to me is a solid move. It's because you know what I mean. Out of the goodness of your heart, you want to just show love
Mm,
to your friend. So I just want to commend that. That's just dope that it took that long until she was
yeah.
like, "Yo, this is the best place ever." So yeah.
Now this is a real question.
Mm.
So there's definitely a lady who wrote this. So she said, it is never okay for men to give CPR to an unconscious woman. Resuscitation is just a fancy word for rape. What do you feel about that?
I think that that is one of the stupidest, and I don't like using words stupid and idiot. You'd be surprised. I say it a lot, but I don't like judging people or calling people names. But that's one of the stupidest things I've heard. That's when you're too woke. You're too like, what are you talking about? Resuscitation is a fancy word for rape. Um, no, I just think it's I think that the person whoever wrote that must be a troll. Like she must just be having jokes because at the end of the day, how can you turn a life saving
Technique.
maneuver technique into a sexual act. And now you're saying to stop doing it. Like, so if there's only a man and a woman and she's choking on something, don't even bother. Don't even bother. Just let her go because you might get charged for rape. No, I think that it's just ignorant, stupid. I'm hoping that it's just a troll, someone that just is looking at how crazy the world is right now. With you know, I don't see nothing fully wrong. I think the Me Too movement is necessary, but I do
Mhm.
think in some ways it's gone extreme, and I think this whatever statement or that person wrote is just to
Is the
mock,
extreme
yeah,
that
to
you're talking
mock the
about.
extreme craziness of this. So I'm hoping there's not really people thinking that way. That's the best way I can put it. I just hope that
You
this
know
is
what?
just a troll.
I don't think so. I feel like this is how a lot of people think. Like a lot of people will say there's no such thing as systemic racism. There's no such thing as like I really feel like some people really think this way, and she really thinks giving CPR to an unconscious, a male giving CPR to an unconscious woman
Mm-hmm.
is considered rape because you'll have to touch her body without her consent. But I'm just like, I'm supposed to leave her there to die, and then what? Like, it doesn't make sense. If I'm trained in CPR, it doesn't say, okay, you learned CPR, but only use CPR on your gender. Like, it's just being ignorant. That's it.
Okay. No, so did you see years back? I don't know if you saw they were trying to make a movement like before you change your child's diaper, you should ask permission. You did hear
This is a
about
real
that?
thing or is it a joke?
Yeah, it's a real thing they were trying to say. Dude, that's what I'm saying. This cancel woke where all these
Okay, hold on.
movements are extreme. There's extremists. I think they're very necessary, but I think just like in anything, there's extremists, and I think a lot of some of these situations are extreme. Now, what were you gonna say?
So your child is, I don't know, 6 months old. They cannot speak. How do you ask for consent to change their diaper?
That's my point, bro. But they just, but again, it's people extreme, and that's what I'm saying. That's serious. That people were trying to push that movement, that narrative of you should ask your kid. People were like, well, what are you talking about? Like, so that's why I'm hoping that
Yeah,
that person that wrote that was just trolling, just how far
yeah,
left we went. But nah, this is that's too much. That's too much. But it's funny
yes,
though.
yes,
It's
it
funny though. It's funny
is.
though.
And see, this is the thing. I don't even think it's funny. It's
No?
nothing to laugh about because there are people out here who actually think like this.
Bro.
So you thinking you're doing a good thing, they'll turn around and try to sue you, try
Yeah.
to like tarnish your name because you're a this and like, no,
No.
it's not right.
You're right. You're right.
Speaking of not right, Justin Bieber has dreads. Like, how do we feel about this? Like, I mean, you know what? It's your hair. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm jealous because I can't grow it.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. Maybe.
But it's not to say it looks cute. Like, so, but I mean, who cares? Like, no.
Looks good. Looks good. Come on.
No, I know what I said. Oh, I know what I said.
Okay.
But once again, like, I mean, hey, it's him who's living with it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
if he's okay with it, why do I care? But
Mhm.
cultural appropriation, do you feel like this is what's happening here? Like, do you think it's going to be cool now to have dreads because Justin has dreads? And this is what I was getting at. Now, when a black person with dreads
Mhm.
goes into a job interview, it's going to be more acceptable and recognized because Justin Bieber is doing it and he's making it more mainstream. Do you think
Mhm.
this is what's going to happen now, or do you think it's still going to be like, oh well, no, it doesn't look
I,
professional.
I think that since rap and all that became pop culture, I think it's become more acceptable. A lot of these things. So yes, I think it'll become more, but I think it's still. I think it's becoming more acceptable already. You've seen Jay Z's hair recently.
Mm.
Like he has like that Miami. Now,
But see,
but I'm just giving you an example. But there's right now, dreads are just like a haircut back in the day. That's how it's perceived. It's really become so popularized. Again, you see majority of kids now. They have the high top braids, weird dreads thing going. That's really again pop culture, like hip hop, black culture became pop culture. So I think that yes, Justin Bieber will assist in making it acceptable, but I also think it was going in that direction regardless, due to the fact that this is how every black kid looks nowadays. This is how every so and plus now the owners of these new companies and managers are growing up in the culture, you know
mm,
so I think that's it. But let me get to this Justin Bieber thing. To be real about it, um, fellow Canadian, love him,
mm,
lying. Fellow Canadian, I respect that. But as far as the cultural appropriation and whatnot, I think it's very real with him. I know we should forgive and forget, but I have not forgiven and I have not forgot his one less
yeah.
lonely N word song.
Less lonely nigga. There's gonna be one less nigga. If I kill you, I'll be part of the KKK.
And plus, I didn't like when him and Lil Twist was hanging out and how he pretty much threw him under the bus, saying that he was just a bad influence on him every time he was doing crappy stuff. So I like his music. I think he comes out with some dope tracks from time to time. But as far as a person, I can't co-sign him because I don't think that his intentions are always 100% there. To me, he showed it two times between Lil Twist, the way he threw him under the bus between that song, even though he was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
But for me, I've had enough of it. I'm good. Go
But
ahead.
see, I feel like, and not to give anybody excuses or anything, but like, you remember we were talking the other day, Justin Timberlake, where he threw them under the bus and he came back, apologized after, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like it was his people who were telling him to say whatever or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I feel like when the little twist thing happened, like, I can't speak for the song because I mean I don't know what happened with the song, but for a little twist, like, it was one of those things where he was the clean cut Canadian kid, and we don't want to tarnish his image. And then when he started doing things, it's like, yo, like, okay, you got to stop doing this stuff. But he keeps doing it, and it's like, okay, just say it was him. He was a bad influence on you, this and that. Because I mean, at the end of the day, he was signed to Young Money or
Yeah.
Cash Money. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's supposed to be the bad boy. So just pawn it off on him, and then you start acting right. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, let me just say, like, whatever. I'm just being told what by my, like, PR people. Hey,
Yeah.
it's not me. Really want to be a good guy. It's just I'm hanging around bad people. So I mean, I can't blame him per se, because at the end of the day, he was still young.
And so
And
was Lil Twist, except you had no problem making him the bad guy. And again, we cannot lie that color doesn't assist in this. Everyone expects the little black kid to be doing messed up stuff. Nobody wants to think that the little white kid would be, paintballing his neighbor's house and doing all these things. I get what you're saying, but for me, it just fit so well into history that it's difficult for me not like it's so
yeah,
much easier just to say, hey, it's the black guy's the bad apple. All we have to do is get him away from him, and remember, he's still the same good guy. And yeah, so no,
yeah.
but yeah, sorry to cut you off, but I
No,
just
no,
can't
it's fine.
can't let it
It's
slide.
fine. Now, since we're on the topic of hair, there was this little girl in Michigan, Journey Hoffmeyer, where on March 24th, She was in the school bus, and a child cut her hair basically to shoulder length. Like she has long curly hair to like the middle of her back. So cut a chunk of her hair to shoulder length. And 2 days later, two teachers at the school decided they were going to cut the little girl's hair, 7-year-old Journey's hair, basically like an inch or two from her scalp. So cut off all her long curls to an inch or two. Now, my question is, who gave you the right, the authority to touch this little girl's hair and cut it? Especially knowing you guys know nothing about hair to cut it properly. Now, if you were, say, moonlighting as a barber or a hairstylist, and during the day you were a teacher, so okay, cool. You know what? Let me fix her hair for her. Then I understand, but you have no idea what you're doing. You chopped off this kid's hair. Who gave you the right? Like, what do you feel about it? Sorry. How do you feel?
Whether you're a barber or not, don't touch my kid's hair. I don't care if you're moonlighting, you want to hook them up or not. It changes nothing. I don't want you to put your hands in my kid's hair. There's no need for it. If my kid got gum in their hair, you call me, I'm going to figure it out. Don't touch my kid's hair. So I am not, I'm livid for her family, for her. Those teachers should be fired. They have no right, and they just don't understand the concept of respecting other people. Because I'm not gonna say whether black, white, nothing. I'm not even gonna bring color into this. I'm just saying it was an idiotic, ignorant thing that these teachers did, and it was they there was a lack of respect for the child. Like, why do you think that you have the right to touch or cut a kid's hair without the parents' permission? Like, I think that you confuse the type of authority you have, and you believe you have too much authority or more authority than you actually do. I would be so livid if I was the parents. I might even get arrested. I'm not saying that violence in any which way is okay, but somebody does that again. I take kids. Kids are very near and dear to my heart. I do not think any kid should be mistreated or hurt in any way, shape, or form. And doing that to a child is just cruel. Whether I don't know their intentions, they might have had great intentions, but you have to be a big time idiot. You're not a child, you're a grown person, and you think it's okay to chop off a little kid's hair without speaking to the parents. They should be fired. At minimum, they should be fired. They should probably even go get some sort of community service. I won't say jail because, again, they might have had good intentions. So I'll give them that. But they definitely need some, there needs to be repercussions. There's certain lines you don't cross, especially with people's kids, and they cross that line. That's how I feel. How do you feel about it?
Because,
Yeah.
like I said, you know nothing about this child's hair.
Yeah.
Long, golden, curly, blonde locks. You chopped all off.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, if the hair was chopped to shoulder length,
Yeah.
okay, why cut it down to this? Cut it all to shoulder length, if anything.
Because they were probably idiots and probably
No,
listening
no,
to the
no, no,
kid
no, not
saying,
probably
no,
idiots.
but they're probably
Definitely
listening to the
idiots.
kid. The kid was probably just like, oh, I want my hair lower. Like, is this good? And like, no, a little lower. And just follow. Like, you understand the.
But anyways,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, they definitely should be fired.
Yeah.
Even sue them. Like,
definitely. Sue the school, sue them. I was everybody getting
you
sued.
know, in the States, they sued for everything and they always win.
Exactly.
So,
Everybody getting sued.
get your money. Yo, trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really don't think it's right. That first kid who ever cut my child's hair, they're getting sued too. But what I was saying was, now back to this situation. Like, there's another situation where you're like, no, they shouldn't touch kids' hair. Period. This and that. Now, I mean, obviously, when they're older, and they can, I guess, fend for themselves or whatever. Like, say 16, because there's another story that I've seen where he got a haircut and he was wearing his hat in class. And the teacher told him to take off his hat. He didn't want to take off his hat. Sent him to the principal's office. So now when the principal was like, okay, what happened? And so now he didn't want to take off his hat. Found out the reason why he didn't want to take off his hat is because he got a jacked up haircut. Like the outline, whatever, this and that, wasn't crispy, didn't look good, didn't, whatever. So the principal was like, okay, cool. Like he can do a thing or two with a razor. So I think he went home, got his razor, and he cleaned up his outline for him. And after that, he was happy. So, I mean, there are instances where things can happen, but the kid was older.
Exactly.
So, in this case, you don't listen to a 7-year-old when they're like, shut up. Like, I mean, we don't even know if that was said.
No.
At the end of the day, we know they cut this little girl's hair.
Yeah. And we know they're the adults.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I don't agree with what they did.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid. This is when Different Strokes obviously was on TV.
Yeah.
And Arnold, you know, he had the fro with the part in it.
Yeah.
I remember one time I guess mommy went to work and I was a grandma. So I was laying down on her lap and so we're watching TV and so she's combing my hair. She's combing out my hair and then she gave me a part. So she just combing it and parted it. That was it. No scissors, no razor, no nothing. Just a comb and her hands. Later, mommy came home. I still had the part in my hair. And she was like, what happened to your head? I'm like, grandma did it. And she's like, come here. And now, you know how they say hindsight's 20/20. At that point, I was like, okay. And I was walking towards her. Dirt jumped out of nowhere and was like, no, grandma used a comb and did this here. And so she said, oh, okay. And she walked away. Now, I think about it and I was like, you know what kind of whooping I was going to get because she thought my hair was cut?
Yeah.
I was like, Dirt saved my life. So, Dirt, I want to thank you. Thank you for saving my life.
You're a real one. You're a real one.
You're the real MVP. Yeah. Speaking of the haircut situation, there was another one that I seen where this little boy, he had long hair. His mom brought him to his grandmother's house. And when she came home to pick up the kid, the grandmother cut his hair herself. Not a barber. So it was like low and patchy and everything. Now, I mean, it's different because this is now his grandmother. So, I mean, you can sue because, I mean, people sue for everything. But what happens in that case? Like, because, I mean, we were brought up to have respect for your elders. So we can't really sit there and be mad. Like, I mean, yes, we can be mad. But you can't be mad the same way with your mom like you would be with a stranger on the street who messed up your child's hair. What do you say? And especially if you were growing the kid's hair for years and you guys never had this discussion to say, okay, I want you to cut his hair or I want to cut their hair.
So I'm sorry. So I see it as, all right, first of all, I think, like you said, always respect your elders, always respect your parents, all of this. So I think that's first and foremost. But I think all rules go out the window when you're talking about your kids. So they come first. You're supposed to always, every decision you make, it's all about them. It should be protecting them, their well-being, all of the above. So I know we're just talking about a haircut, but if you think that whatever was done was not in your child's best interest, you are allowed, regardless of how much respect you have for your parents, you need to make sure that whatever the problem is checked. Because again, your child is now your, I don't want to say property, but property. Your child belongs to you. You need to make sure your kid is right. So if you have to cuss out your parent, if you have to say, yo, you're not seeing your grandchild however long, or you're never again, as long as it's all for the right reasons of protecting your child, I don't have a problem with it. I don't think maybe it shouldn't go that far. Maybe it should. It depends on how serious or how much of a violation it was. Let's say your child has dreads down to their ankle and you bring them over to grandma's house and grandma maliciously cuts off the hair. Again, you could love your parent, but you can't love your parent more than you love your child. So at that point, you need to distance it. You have to treat them like you would treat anybody else, because again, nobody should come above your child. That's how I see it.
Um, the glass bottom bridge in China collapses, and a man holds on 330 feet above the ground. Have you seen this bridge, like this glass bottom bridge?
Yeah, I believe I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Scary as hell. I would never walk on it. There was no reason for me to walk on it.
Yeah.
I will never ever know what's on the other side of there because I will never walk across there to know what's on the other side. Unless I go up and see this side, and then whatever way I go around and I see that side, but I will never ever walk across to see what was going on. But this man walked across the bridge and it collapsed underneath him, and he had to hold on for dear life 330 feet above ground. No, thank you. Like, anyways, the way my anxiety is set up, no, it doesn't work for me. Don't work for me. Like the other day with the in Toronto uh, here, where the sign collapsed like on the highway, crushed the car. I was like, I think about that stuff all the time, and that stuff really happened. I was like, no, I couldn't do this. Anyways, with me freaking out and everything, I'm just gonna calm down. How do you feel about it? Take a sip of water.
Okay, to be honest, I'd be lying to tell you if I wouldn't do something like that. I definitely would. Like you see where people are walking across the glass and then it goes from being like floor to actually see through. You've seen that, so I want to do that. I want to try those things. So I'd be lying if I say I wouldn't do it. But stories like that freaks me out to make me not want to. But I'm really one of those people that want to conquer my fears. So
Yeah.
I consciously try to make an effort to do things that I'm not okay with doing. So I would do it, but hearing that story, like, like I don't want to, but I'd be lying to say if the opportunity came up that I wouldn't do it. So
Okay.
yeah, so I'd probably still do it, even though it's not the smartest move. So it's come to my attention. I'm sure you heard about this. As you know, the Summer Olympics are going to be coming up. Um, the thing is, there hasn't been getting a lot of media coverage. This in particular part I'm going to be talking about. Like I haven't really seen it on any news platforms or anything. But the Olympics are trying to make a ban on any type of Black Lives Matter saying or any type of Black Lives Matter initials or anything on your garments. Any type of protest, they're trying to make that not be allowed. You can't kneel. You can't put up the fist. You can't do anything. They're trying to put a ban on all of this. Now, I want to ask you, how do you feel about this?
I mean, I don't feel any way about it.
Okay.
And I say this because, I mean, I'm not going to the Olympics. So, I mean, it is what it is. Now, if you have morals and you have, like, your moral compass is like, no, this is how I feel and whatever, then, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if you decided you were going to ban the Olympics and decide you're not going. And, I mean, hey, you don't have to play for the Olympics. I mean, it's cool to be a part of the Olympics to say, yeah, I played for the Olympics, but I mean,
in the Olympics, play in the
or yeah, sorry, play in the Olympics. Um, you might get a medal, you may not get a medal, but at the end of the day, I mean, you're not getting paid for going to the Olympics. I mean, you may get paid endorsements and stuff like that, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're already who you are, and I'm pretty sure you can get the notoriety or whatever you're looking for elsewhere. So, I mean, if you would need to ban it just to get your point across, I wouldn't be mad if you did it. And that's how I feel. Like, you?
Okay. It pisses me off. To be honest, I think for one, I'm disappointed in media, the fact that they haven't been covering this. And two, the fact that they're trying to silence voices, especially Black voices. Why does it have to be Black causes, Black people? Like, whether you're for Black Lives Matter or not, that's not my argument. My argument is they're trying to take away freedom of speech. Now, again, you can't take a knee. You can't. Why is it anything trying to show pride to our culture or to a movement that they're trying to take away? I agree with you that they don't have to. I hope that this word gets out to enough people as well to whomsoever is going to be participating, because it's not okay whether you choose to make a statement or not. That's not, but you should have the right to make a statement. um Now, so yeah, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. I'm very disappointed with media. I'm disappointed with any black athlete that chooses to participate, because at the end of the day, they're trying to silence you. They're trying to silence. Again, I'm not saying you have to be for Black Lives Matter, but they're trying to silence a black movement. Now, whether Black Lives Matter or just kneeling or putting a fist up, because the fist up was done way before Black Lives Matter. So they're trying to even take that away. It should show you that they just want you to shut up and dribble, which is not okay. So yeah, I just want to make sure that people are aware of what's going on in the world, because again, I happened to stumble on to this information, and I was in shock to hear that this is happening in 2021, and nobody's even batting an eye. So yeah, that's one thing.
I have a question about this though.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know many details on it, so I can't really speak on it. I'm just
yeah,
like, you know what? Like I said before, if you want to boycott it, do what you got to do. But
yeah,
that's the only advice I can give, because I feel like you said, they're targeting just us alone.
yeah.
But my question is, are they batting like all things? So if you say wear a Blue Lives Matter shirt or a White Lives Matter shirt, like, are they batting that as well? Or
Yeah.
stop Asian hate? Like,
See, that's a
are
good
all those
question.
bad?
That's a
Or
good
is it
question.
just the Black Lives Matter stuff?
Okay, that's a good question. I honestly don't know the details to that. All I know is strictly the fact that they
Yeah,
took away anything pertaining to us taking a stance on Black power, Black
yeah.
lives. All of that is bad. And yeah, so I really, it's a good question. I really haven't, but even if it's a ban on the Blue Lives Matter, even if it's a ban on Stop Asian Hate, the fact is again, and I'm not for the Blue Lives Matter movement. I think that is just disrespectful. But even if
No,
it's a,
this is the thing.
yeah,
It's not disrespectful per se. It's just, you know what? It is disrespectful. I was trying to say, like, if you understand what I'm trying to say, it's them trying to come up with an answer as to why whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, it is disrespectful, because at the end of the day, it's them who's causing the issues.
yeah.
They're the ones who's killing us. So to say their lives matter, yeah, no one's saying their life didn't matter.
But there's no such thing as a blue life.
Exactly. You can take off your uniform.
Exactly.
Actually, they may be speaking to Gargamel.
Facts. I didn't think about that though. Anyways, man, all I'm saying is I even if it's a Blue Lives Matter and somebody wants to rock a Blue Lives Matter shirt, they should be allowed to. It's freedom of speech, and that's my issue. They're trying to take away the freedom of speech, but it seems like it's focused on
Yeah.
Black people's freedom of speech, and that's where my issue is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Remember, like, share, subscribe on all platforms, cuz the internet. Our Gmail is cuztheinternet@gmail.com. Once again, I'm your host, Trey.
And I'm your host, Zay. And remember, if it's on the internet, we may talk about it. Hey, you.
I